tell me a little bit about your childhood?
Uh, Starting right off the bat.
Yeah.
Uh, my childhood is kind of what started everything. I don't remember a whole lot of it, but what I do remember is just abuse and trauma. And I kind of just like be free.
Yes, whatever you
Okay.
want.
So like I'm here to tell my story because I realized I had one the day I wanted to end my story, and that's when I planned a road trip to end my life. And during this trip, the first day of it was my childhood and the memories that I had blacked out and pushed deep down. I just got to relive those, and my, my I don't know the words.
How did your childhood feel? If you can describe how it felt.
Darkness, alone. And don't get me wrong, I had family, I had friends, I had everything. Um, but my dad was so mean to me growing up, and I don't remember him ever being mean to my brother. It was just always me, and it was just nothing but you know verbal abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, um, and those are the things that I didn't remember until, frankly, just last week. And so this is all just fresh to me, but things that were so innocent and things that everybody just kind of thinks, but it's not innocent when the person that is around you is not being innocent, and it makes a huge difference. And I didn't it was those feelings that came back, those childhood feelings that I felt. It wasn't the actual acts, it was what that little boy felt during all those times. And so that really started off this journey of just wanting out and just wanting to be free. And the first experience of death in my life was my grandma, Nana. I loved her so much, and she was my memory, my childhood memories on the good side, because I got to bake with her, and she would, I mean, just little things like rubbing lotion on her feet, let me stay the night with her, and she got taken away from me so young. And I think that was the first time I ever felt just the pain, because she showed me a way out, because she was in pain and she got to die, and everybody told me she wasn't in pain anymore, and I knew I felt pain. And being a little boy, just wanting to die, and that was just the beginning of my childhood. And
Far back into your childhood,
uh,
can you
it
remember?
started about 4 when my parents divorced, and that really set the bar pretty low in my life. And it didn't it just never went well from there, and I never knew why, and I never knew anything other than that, even though on the outside I was able to paint on a layer.
Did you have any dreams as a child?
The only dream I can remember as a child is being carried by just a big monster, a big furry monster, down the hallway and laid into my brother's bed. And wake up the next day, and I was just like, my brother was mad because I was in his bed, and I was like, I don't know why I'm here. And my dad told me I slept walk, and I fall asleep in one position and wake in one position since I was a baby, so I don't know, but yeah, that's the only dream I can remember as a child.
Did you aspire to be anything as a child?
I was set up for a family business of mowing yards. I've been mowing and working full time since I was 5 years old. Well, until I weighed enough that the lawnmower wouldn't do the kill start. And then at that time, that's when he would cut the kill start safety switch and just put us on the mower and we would just mow. So that was what I was programmed to be.
Can you tell me more about your relationship with your dad and how that felt?
As a child? Or now?
Child and now.
Now there's none. As a child, I feared him. It was joint custody, and I hated the weekends. After school was work. Weekends were work. I wasn't, if I did get to play a sport, and he all of a sudden became the coach, and pushed me so hard until I just gave up. So I didn't want to play sports. I didn't want to do anything because I know he would just ruin it.
How would he ruin it?
He always told me that I was able to figure things out. My brother was the one that needed the help. I was the one that, you can figure it out. And that was just the pressure on me all the time. Even I was always under pressure. And I didn't know. I never knew. And that's what gets me emotional about it, is that I was, I just thought that got that card. That was the life I had.
How did it feel experiencing the abuse and not knowing what was going on?
I don't really remember. I mean, the physical abuse is the only thing I remember as far as actual act. And it was the 12er. You got 12 swats with whatever was in his reach.
What about your relationship with your mom?
My mom is my rock. She's not perfect, and I love her for it. And she has been the one that has gotten me through just the things that I let her see. And she got me through those, so. And I don't want to hurt her in any way at all. And I know my pain will bring a lot of pain out there, and that's not my intention of this. I'm coming from a place of love and healing, and I need to take my first step. I need to tell my story and be first and love myself. So.
How does that love with your mom feel, that bond?
Like an umbilical cord. My mom is just smiles to me. She makes me happy, and I know I rely on her too much, but I need that because I've always felt so alone.
What would you say you learned from your parents? And it may not be, can be anything or it can be nothing.
One thing I learned from my mom is don't ever ask for help. You can do it. Because she never asked for help.
Can you tell me about your first love and how that felt?
My first love.
It can be a person or it can be a hobby. It can be whatever you associate as your first love.
My first true love was my dog Layla. She was a Chowiener. Amish lady I worked at when I was 14 found her in a hayfield. She was all by herself, and I had her for 13 years, and she saw the world with me.
Can you tell me about your first loss or heartbreak and how that felt?
I mean, my first loss, I've always lost. So, I mean, first heartbreak. My first heartbreak actually was whenever I couldn't make my marriage work and I thought I was trying.
How did that feel trying to make it work and nothing and it not working?
I mean, at the time I was, unaware, but say that one more time. Sorry.
So you were trying to make it work, but it wasn't working. So
Yeah.
how was that feeling when you're trying to make something work out, but the opposite is happening?
Frustration, because that's one thing about me now as an adult. Not that I have a control issue, but I have to be able to, organize, clean, contain, control. And I couldn't control that. And I think me trying to control it is what ruined it all. If I would have just been, if I would have been the person I am today, then it'd been beautiful.
Who would you say first taught you love and how?
I don't think I've actually ever experienced love. I know what is described as love, and I've felt those feelings, but not. I feel like I am two different people. I feel like I am this, and then inside I'm someone different, and that's who's talking now, and he's never had love. Or I know he has. Well, I know I have, but I haven't felt it.
So then, what's love to you now?
Love,
Has it always been the same? And what's love to your perception of love now versus what it was then? Whatever the closest thing to what it was then.
love to me now is an open book to me, because this is my fresh start, so I'm gonna see what love is, and I'm happy to receive it.
I was kind of in a similar situation, starting over, things like that. It's scary and exciting. Right?
It is very, very. I'm more excited now.
Because
I have fear, but
you have a chance to experience something you never
I
had.
know.
So I completely understand. Can you tell me just about a general good day for yourself?
A good day for me is on the beach, and that's where I needed to be. That's where I just got back from, so.
Can you tell me about a bad day and how you push through it?
I have always lived in a state of survival mode, fight or flight. You've got to figure it out, find different scenarios for a situation just so I can either know what to do or get the heck out. And I don't know.
How you push through that, like a bad day, like it can be anxiety, it can be a bunch of things going wrong, and just what's the mental process of you
Just getting through it. I
getting
have
through the
to,
day to the next day?
as far as mentally, I have to break the problem down into steps, figure out solutions for it. If at any time any of those steps fail, I have to start over with a new solution. Through growing up, constantly be under pressure and having to figure out on my own and everything, that's how my brain just operates now. And to get through it, I just, whatever the problem is, I find a solution for it, whatever it takes. I'm more of a bigger picture than the means to get there.
What's the feelings associated during that time frame? Like, how would you describe how you While
Emotionally,
you're solving the problem.
while I'm solving the problem, that's what I've been very good under pressure. So I kind of just autopilot and just go to it. I'm in the healthcare field, and during Code Blues, I mean, I'm in out successful, and I just don't know how I did it. And so that's what pressure does to me. And bad days, I just find a solution and process it the best way I can, the fastest way I can, so I don't get yelled at.
What are 2 things or people that have shaped you, good or bad? It could be just one thing if you.
My dad is what shaped me into the person I am today. I recognize good and bad. The skills, like my work ethic, came from him. I feel like that's a good thing. A lot of my traumas, I have worked and found a way to make it positive. It's just sometimes it gets a little tough under pressure.
What's inspired you?
Me now. Someone else was writing my story growing up, I realized, so I really don't know who that person was. I don't want to know. I don't think that was me. I had to go through that to be me today. So that's why I inspire to be happy.
What's been a humbling experience for you?
A humbling experience is actually started riding public transit. And my first time was in New York, riding the subway, and there's a guy next to me peeing, and then there's a lady next to me in like Louis Vuitton. And I was like, we're all getting on the same car going to the same place. So it's like we're all equal in that aspect. And that was just like, oh.
How did that feel?
It felt good. I felt like I've always been someone that puts someone else first. I want to see other people happy because the happiness on their face, I kind of get living vicariously through them. So I'm one to pay for everything, I just want to make people happy.
Go in your mind and think. This life event can be mental, physical, or spiritual. Tell me about a time in your life that you can relate with the word war.
War. That's a good one. War. First thing that comes to my mind is my brother. I've always had to be one step ahead of him. I've always had to figure it out faster just because I didn't want to be the one left behind. And I've always been, I don't know why we've never had a relationship, and my life is.
How was that relationship with your brother?
We were co-workers growing up, and whenever he became able to drive, he left me there. And I tried moving back in with him in my mid-20s, and the minute I got there, he left and went to his girlfriend's house. And then they came back, and I had to leave. And I've been on my own ever since then.
How did that day feel when you knew that you would have to be on your own?
I went into survival mode, and I pushed myself to so many limits to see what I was capable of, see how much I could take, because I already knew I was hurt. And I took a lot of risk to find out who I was, and I still don't. Well, I thought I did, but
So same type of question. Go in your mind and think. This life event can be mental, physical, or spiritual. Tell me about a time in your life that you can relate to the word peace.
peace. Um, Peace. The first time was last week. I was driving through Utah, the top side of Grand Canyon during golden hour and sunset, and no matter where you looked around that horizon, it was just beauty and colors. And at that moment, I felt a little ease. And I don't know if it was spiritual. I know I have been talking to God every day, all day, and He has walked me through this and knew I had to go through this, and this is why I'm here today. I'm supposed to tell my story loud, and this is loud. So,
Can you tell me about a truly difficult time in your life, how that felt, and how you endured?
Probably the most difficult thing I think I've been through in my life was when I was 27 years old. I had just moved to Florida on my own right after I left my brother's house, and I came back to show my family that I could make it because I was living in a beach house. I had my own private hot tub. I made it. I had a perfect job, and I came back for Christmas, and my dad's side of the family, we usually just go to the casino. They give us money, and I guess that's our Christmas. And that year, since I've never really had a relationship with my father, I came back and I wanted to be honest with him. I wanted to tell him who I was and stand on my own 2 feet and show him that I am independent and I can make it. And that's whenever I told him that I was gay. And to me, that was a moment of release. That was a moment of adulthood to me. And his response to me was that he was gay too. And I mean, I don't want to tell his story. I'm not going to do that. But in my mind, I thought that was like my one chance to have a relationship with my father, as like something in common. Just something in common. That was just something in common. That like I said, I'm not telling his story. I don't know what he was thinking, but that was the last time he sexually molested me. And at that moment, I mean, disgust. I froze.
And you were 27?
Disgust. Couldn't say no. First thing the next day, he told me to take it to my grave or he'll put me there. And that was the second time he threatened to kill me. So that's been the most difficult thing that I've had to deal with. And I've gotten so good at covering that I've been to therapy, and the common response was, well, you're on the right track. It seems like you got it, but they never saw past it. And I'm telling my story because I'm sick of living in pain. I don't want whoever's listening to be in pain anymore, because I'm terrified right now. I know what's gonna happen after this, but if I can help one person, me not doing what I did I just want to save one person if I can't save myself. And I know that there are so many people that are going through a lot worse, that might be going through the same thing, but darkness is real, and I don't want to live like that anymore. don't want that in there.
Can you tell me about a truly joyous moment in your life?
Joyous moment, yes. I was talking to God, and He showed me what my heaven's gonna look like, and I think that was the joyous moment. But there's a lot of work I have to do in order to get to there, you know. This is not I'm not coming from a place of pain anymore. Like this pain, like I want you to know that. Like this pain I feel right now is the pain of others, what they might be going through. Like I want to be secure. Like,
do you feel that, I mean, I'm quite a spiritual person myself. I always like to talk about, when people talk about their encounters with God, and because I had one myself for sure, and what I felt was peace and love, and I felt things that you know, I thought that I would never feel. And you know, for me, you know, because of that experience, I can never know that there is a God who loves me.
yeah.
How does that feel, knowing that you have, you know, God, the universe, the creator, etc., whatever you would like to call him, but knowing that there is a being that loves you, and you had the great pleasure of feeling that? How does that feel?
That was the good, like it goes back to joyous. Like He showed me He's been there all along, that I had to go through that in order to be strong enough to help someone else. I had to learn from it.
What keeps you up at night?
I'm trying to make this a lighthearted thing, but my brain, thoughts. I go through constant scenarios of anxiety and what ifs, just because I don't want to get hurt ever again.
What keeps you going every day?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. There's nothing that really I look forward to the next.
Not even feeling that relationship with God that you had the pleasure to feel?
Oh, are we today? Yes. Yeah, God showed me a lot of things, and I'm happy to know that I'm still able to have a relationship with Him. I'm happy to know that there is a future for me. I do feel a purpose now. And like I said, I did have to go through a lot of pain. I went through a lot of pain. But even though it sounds like it was always at someone's hand, those were moments of it. But it was a lot psychological, and a lot of it I realized it was me beating myself up through all these things, whether it be relationships, failed jobs, and things like that. But
So we're getting into the last. There's only about 3-4 questions left. You know, and I feel you have obviously a powerful story. Is there anything you want to say, expand more on your story, or?
yeah, just the message I want to get across is, even though you think it's dark out there and you can't stand on your own 2 feet and it's tough, but I'm here now, and I want to help. I want to make sure that no one ever has to feel what I felt, I can't prevent things from happening, but I can be there to help heal. And especially with what's going on in the world today, you know, I think a lot of people need to speak up a little bit more and be more open and honest, because I know what it feels like to post something on Instagram. And I mean, I live the greatest life. I do the best of things, and I hear it all the time from people. And I think what really opened my eyes was I went to San Diego and stayed in a hostel, and I met so many people from so many different parts of the world and so many different walks of life, and they're talking about things and adventures they want to do, and I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, I did that on Tuesday, and that was last month. And I just realized, like, the first time in my own self, I felt like I was worth something, and that was the beginning of God's journey for me. And these people were set in my life for a reason, and I've met, you know, I see that there still is pain in this world, but we can keep going. We can help each other, and I've helped them, and they helped me. And from that day forward, I have been nothing but enlightened, blessed, thankful, grateful. I feel love, and I know that the Spirit of Jesus is like in me. I mean, I just feel strong, and I don't feel alone anymore. So even though, like, yeah, I went through a lot of pain and it hurt, I learned how to survive, and I learned how to get ahead, and I'm on the top. I mean, I'm still in rock bottom, but I still see the light. I feel God's hand.
Imagine you're in the hospital today with only hours to live. What would be your regrets, if any?
Last thing, you know, old me would have been like, let's let me go. Now, if I walked out that door and got hit by a car, I would regret it so much, because there's so many people out there that I want to meet. There's so many people out there I want to just, I'm here for you, it's going to be okay. And there's so many people that, because the heaven God showed me was me standing up next to him, looking down into a sea of people. And he told me that these are all the people that you brought to me. And I just want to help people heal. And that is my purpose in life now. And I'm an empty shell, but I'm ready to be filled with love and happiness.
So you're gonna make it. You're alive and well. Obviously, you just pretty much answered the questions. Do you feel you can change that regret? If not, change it, make amends with it. So you would have regretted. You pretty much answered. You would have regretted.
Yeah,
not doing all the things
that I could be doing, that I will be doing.
That you will be doing.
Yeah. Like I said, this is all new to me, so. But yeah, I guess my story starts now, not really.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So you told me you had that one dream as a kid, and your aspirations were kind of blank. What are your dreams and aspirations now?
The dreams I have now are just bliss, peace, happiness. I'm a daydreamer, not a night dreamer. So I live in the clouds anyway, but I want to inspire people. You know, if they don't feel strong, let me be strong for them.
You're the author of your life book. What's your picture perfect ending?
And he lived happily ever after.
That's perfect. That's it, brother. That was it. It wasn't too hard, right?
No. Thank you.